Okay.
All right, so what I have here is my plaster and water. I'm going to teach you how to mix that properly. In here, you can see my mold. I have pressed in the keys for the plaster to sit in, so it attaches to the other side of the mold once we make that. All right. So what we do with the plaster is we get it into the water, and you see I'm wearing gloves so I don't get caked up. And we just kind of drizzle it in and around the edges. You can see I got some smoke going, but I have a window open so it's going to go out. All right, so we just mix this in real slow. Don't just dump it in. You want to try and let the water, let the plaster absorb the water. And you want to make it until there's little islands. You'll see some of these are too high. I have a lot of plaster in here, but I know that I'm going to need it all for what I'm doing. Okay? So I probably need to add a little more water in here. But you see how I sprinkle it in. Alright, so we'll need more water. And that's why I have an extra tank of water off to the side. And I'll just pour a little bit in here. And that might be enough right there. So a lot of times people will let it sit and absorb the plaster, let the plaster absorb the water. What I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of go in here and I'm going to make for a mix. And I don't want it really runny. I kind of want it like a thick soup. Try not to aerate it, try not to get too many air bubbles in there, especially if you're using the plaster as a casting material. Okay? Alrighty. So what I'm trying to do is just make sure this is mixed thoroughly. Get all those blobs out. This way I don't have any dry plaster in this mix. Okay, now I'm going to dump it into the mold. And pour it over the piece as you go along. And you want to make sure you're buried. Get in there, scoop it out. Just like that. And that's the method for making plaster. This will take a while to dry. Plaster doesn't dry on it's a chemical reaction, is what I'm trying to say. I probably could use a little more in here. So I'll mix another batch and pour the top of that. But basically that's it. Okay.